there's a lot of other stuff going on in the world of entertainment news that we don't necessarily have time to address as main topics. But I want to make sure you guys are all caught up to date with what's going on, so our own fact checker Jonathan presents to you today's installment of the Movie News Feed. Check it out.
First up, Endgame, The Battle of Winterfell, and Cobra Kai Season 2 finale No Mercy were among the top battle royales so far this year. Apparently, the fans and YouTube agree, as it's being reported Cobra Kai Season 3 has been picked up by the streaming service. From JoeBlow.com, when Cobra Kai bowed onto YouTube in 2018, the martial arts drama garnered 55 million views for its debut episode and ranked 6th among the most Googled search TV shows for that year. Before performing like gangbusters and giving Karate Kid fans a sequel worth watching, many scoffed at the show's seemingly family-friendly vibe. However, after the show made its way onto the internet video platform, it became a fast favorite across several age groups, satisfying fans of the franchise both young and old. Ralph Macchio reprises his role as Danny LaRusso, William Zabka is back as Johnny Lawrence, and Martin Kove returns as Sensei John Kreese. Cobra Kai Season 3 returns to YouTube next year. Next up, although it is expected that Johnny Depp will continue on in his role as Gellert Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts 3, the actor has yet to officially sign on to appear in the next 3 installments of the franchise. According to an anonymous source, so take this with a grain of salt, close to Johnny Depp, the actor has not been approached by the studio yet to exercise the option in his contract for Fantastic Beasts 3. Depp does have a contract through the 5-film franchise, but, like the rest of the stars, his option for each movie is handled separately by Warner Brothers. Johnny Depp's legal issues, specifically the ugly back-and-forth abuse allegations with ex-wife Amber Heard, could also be affecting this deal. The website, The Blast, was told a few Warner Brothers execs were pushing for Depp to be fired from Fantastic Beasts, but many of the heavy hitters have maintained full support. One of those heavy hitters is said to be J.K. Rowling herself, and the Harry Potter author also made it clear before The Crimes of Grindelwald came out that she was fully supportive of Johnny Depp. Fantastic Beasts 3 was originally set to begin production this summer, with a hoped-for but not official release date of November 2020. Production was initially pushed back to late fall 2019. Actor Dan Fogler, who plays Jacob Kowalski in the film, said filming was delayed because the third movie is bigger than the first 2 combined. The gigantic movie needed more time to prep, and they didn't want to rush anything. Filming was pushed back to start in spring of 2020, with the film getting an official release date of November 2021. Next up, ahead of this December's Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, Lucasfilm has announced the studio is releasing a series of novels and comics entitled Journey to the Rise of Skywalker, according to the franchise's official website. From ComingSoon.net, Michael Siglain, Lucasfilm's creative director of publishing, said the following: "The Journey to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker publishing program is our biggest and boldest film tie-in program yet. We've got exceptionally talented authors, artists, and publishers creating content for fans of all ages. While these titles will include some hints and Easter eggs for the new film, the majority of these titles will feature all new stories set following the events of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Our Journey to books and comics will star Rey, Finn, Poe, Rose, and of course, Leia, Chewie, the droids, and the First Order." A couple highlights include the novel Resistance Reborn, which finds Poe Dameron, General Leia Organa, Rey, and Finn struggling to rebuild the Resistance after their defeat at the hands of the First Order, as well as the comic book series Allegiance. On the run since the destruction of Starkiller Base, General Leia and the remaining handful of Resistance have barely managed to survive, much less strike back against the superior forces of the First Order. Running low on options, Leia decides to reach out to her former allies, the Mon Calamari, whose shipyards once powered the Rebel Alliance. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker hits theaters December 20th. Next up, just days before Stranger Things creators, the Duffer Brothers, were set to face a trial on claims of plagiarism for the origins of the Netflix series The Whole Thing Has Ended. From Deadline, plaintiff Charles Kessler has withdrawn his wide-ranging damages suit against Matt and Ross Duffer. In a statement Sunday, Kessler said the following: "After hearing the deposition testimony this week of the legal expert I hired, it is now apparent to me that, whatever I may have believed in the past, my work had nothing to do with the creation of Stranger Things. Documents from 2010 and 2013 prove that the Duffers independently created their show. As a result, I have withdrawn my claim and I will be making no further comment on this matter." The expected 5-day trial was supposed to begin on May 7th in LA Superior Court. As Deadline reported last week, Right before the Duffer Brothers were to go on trial for allegedly scooping ideas for Stranger Things from the filmmaker, lawyers from both sides met in court to limit the scope of what the jury will and will not be able to see and hear. When all was said and done, the plaintiff's attorney started to stand down on certain issues. This included comparing Kessler's script and the Stranger Things pilot. All of this came to the surface after the plaintiff's lawyer's own expert saw documents in his deposition where he admitted he undermined his conviction that the Duffers didn't create the Netflix series. The third season of Stranger Things is set to debut on Netflix on July 4th. Next up, back in April, HBO canceled one of its Game of Thrones spin-off concepts, with Game of Thrones writer Brian Cogman saying that the network decided to go a different way with the future of its Game of Thrones series. From AV News, the main spin-off is already moving forward from Kingsman and X-Men Days of Future Past writer Jane Goldman and star Naomi Watts. In a recent blog post, J.R.R. Martin, the author, mentioned that 3 Game of Thrones spin-offs are still moving forward nicely. One of them is Goldman's, a series he wanted to call The Long Night, but can't now because that was the name of a recent episode. But the other 2 are still in the script stage and are edging closer. As for what they'll be about, Martin can't or won't say. We will have to wait to hear from HBO for an official synopsis. And finally, after being put on the shelf by Amazon, Woody Allen's A Rainy Day in New York is set to be released in Italy in the fall via distributor Lucky Red. From Variety, following Amazon's decision to halt the film's release and cut ties with Allen, the romantic comedy starring Timothée Chalamet, Elle Fanning, Selena Gomez, and Jude Law is now being sold by Glenn Basner's Film Nation Entertainment. Not much is known about the plot of A Rainy Day in New York, except that it's an ensemble rom-com involving 2 young people who arrive in New York for the weekend, and that it may include a narrative strand in which an older man, played by Law, has a relationship with a younger woman, played by Fanning, who was 19 during production. The film was completed in 2018. The Allen film has become toxic in the US because of the renewed attention to the sexual molestation allegations leveled at Allen by his daughter Dylan Farrow. Allen denies the allegations. And that will do it for today's installment of the Movie News Feed.